Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. And after about 8.5 years of this, it's time that I finally review something that's been requested since near the beginning. No, not Twilight. I'm talking about Saw. A bit of a horror cultural phenomenon when it was released in 2004. Saw had its screenplay written as far back as 2001 by Leigh Whannell and James Wan, who wanted to make a real movie right out of film school. But it wasn't until the short released in 2003, known today as Saw 0.5, that they managed to get funding to create the film they wanted in the first place. Saw. Which is still not really the most ambitious project you could think of. Back when they were first planning it out, they realized, hey, filmmaking is expensive, and we could probably only actually afford one room to make a movie in, so let's try and figure out how to make a movie that takes place in one room and make it work. Which brings us to Saw, a horrifying tale about two men who are kidnapped, and both suffering from mild amnesia as they awaken to find themselves chained in a dirty bathroom. No idea where they are or what's going on. Spare for some clues left by the mastermind behind this all, who intends to test their resolve and find out just how badly they want to live. Sounds like a fine way to brighten the mood after a Rob Zombie movie review, so let's take a look at Saw and see if it makes the cut. I feel like I should apologize for that one. We open up to a dark and very wet situation with our co-writer, Leigh Whannell, waking up in a dirty bathtub, pulling himself out. This obviously brings up some questions.
Shit, I'm probably dead.
You're not dead.
Who's that?
Oh, that's just Cary Elwes. You know, Westley from The Princess Bride, or Robin Hood from Robin Hood Men in Tights, or many other very impressive roles for movies that I'm probably never ever going to review. Here he plays Lawrence Gordon, the other man chained up in this rusty restroom. Well, the other one who's still standing, at least. Ooh, a mystery. What did this man in? Was it the gun? Or the tape player? How high was the volume, and was it dubstep? At but a few minutes in, you can already see the impressive cinematography at work here. The scream incoherently and yank at the chain strategy does little to aid in their escape, but it is shot intensely enough. Well, since they're not going anywhere anytime soon, may as well get the formalities out of the way. Lawrence explains he's a doctor and can't remember anything past going home from work. Adam, played by Leigh, says the last thing he remembers is going to bed before waking up here, so not much to do but take in the surroundings.
First dead body I've ever seen. Looked different in real life. They don't move.
Well, where the hell did you get your education on the behavior of cadavers, Night of the Living Dead? We also immediately see the juxtaposition between Adam and Lawrence, Adam being far more emotional and all over the place, while Lawrence is a much more rational thinker and immediately starts trying to figure things out.
Whoever brought us here could have killed us by now. But they didn't. They must want something from us.
Gotta fill out the next 90 minutes somehow. Furthermore, the stank-ass bathroom has a shiny new clock. Therefore, Lawrence deduces their captor wants them to know the time. Continuing to examine their surroundings, Adam pulls a secret note out of his ass. In it, he finds a tape. As luck would have it, Lawrence also has a handy-dandy envelope. This one has a tape as well, but also a .357 Magnum jacketed flat-point round. And a key. Not to any of their bindings, of course. No bother. With the power of Adam's shirt and a drain stopper, they can get the player to find out exactly what is on those tapes.
You're probably wondering where you are. I'll tell you where you might be. You might be in the room that you die in.
Oh, thanks, creepy voice, but we kinda already figured that one out. Come on, make with the useful information. It seems Spooky Voice Man knows Adam well. He's a bit of a voyeur, and the tape tells him he's gonna have to do something other than sit around and watch if he wants to live. Not much going on, but don't worry. Lawrence's tape works quite well as supplemental material.
Your aim in this game is to kill Adam. You have until 6 on the clock to do it.
No! Another time attack! Oh, I hate feeling rushed! Also, quick cryptic clue for the road.
When there's that much poison in your blood, the only thing left to do is shoot yourself.
There's also plasmapheresis. Just saying, Lawrence is a doctor, he probably knows about that. By the way, the creepy voice mentions he kinda sorta has Lawrence's wife and daughter, and if he doesn't kill Adam by 6, they're gonna die too. Oh well, X marks the spot and follow your heart. Hop to it! That last clue might be about the poopy heart on the toilet, so Adam digs through the crap in search of a way out. All he finds is shit, though, but what's in the tank?
I really wish I had checked in there first.
Yeah, well, wish in one hand and shit in... Yeah, never mind. Inside the bag are a pair of hacksaws. So naturally they get right to attempting to cut the chains. Only that's not gonna work.
He doesn't want us to cut through our chains. He wants us to cut through our feet.
Geez, Doctor, calm down. Not everything has to end in an amputation. However, this jogs the good doctor's memory. He believes he knows who has kidnapped them because the police were investigating Lawrence as a suspect not too long ago. Therefore, flashback time! This introduces our detectives, Singh, played by Ken Leung, and Tap, played by Lieutenant Harrigan himself, Danny Glover. They've been investigating this crime spree of the so-called Jigsaw Killer, whom doesn't directly kill his victims, but rather traps them in horrifying situations and challenges them to survive, which, more often than not, they don't. Fun fact, quite a bit of these scares are actually based on the writer's childhood nightmares, which just makes me wonder, do they have one where you're in a fight, but after throwing one punch, you're just completely exhausted? The detectives continue their investigations as the body count rises. This poor son of a bitch was faking being sick. Or at least Jigsaw thought so, and thus he is tasked with unlocking a safe with the antidote to the poison he was injected with, but be careful because— oh god, fire! Oh well, at least Allison Cary, played by Dina Meyer, has found a clue here.
He left us his pen light.
Ah, the masterful madman who's been kidnapping people this whole time, setting up elaborate things and leaving no trace, finally slipped up. In Act 1, too, how convenient. Of course, it's the pen of Lawrence, who in the flashback is currently talking about one of his cancer patients.
The patient had...
His name is John. Dr. Gordon. He's a very interesting person.
Well, considering we were just talking about his terminal, inoperable, fatal condition, I wouldn't get too attached. This would be Zepp, an orderly, played by Michael Emerson. His interruption of Dr. Gordon's speech isn't too big of a deal, as it gets interrupted again anyway by the police, whom seem quite interested in finding out exactly where Lawrence was last night.
What is this all about?
This is yours, Doctor.
Maybe, maybe not. Pretty sure a lot of people in the city own pen lights. But it is his pen light, and therefore he needs to give an alibi as to exactly where he was. He's not the most forthcoming with the information because, hey, he's boinking someone on the side without his wife's knowledge. Still doesn't explain how his pen light got there, but it's fine. His alibi checks out, and so why not have him stick around just a little longer so that Amanda, played by Shawnee Smith, can talk about her run-in with the Jigsaw Killer. She was kidnapped, but did complete the puzzle in time. She was chosen for her drug habit, so... little reverse bear trap in the mouth? Yeah, gonna fuck her up pretty bad if she doesn't get the key. The key, of course, being in the stomach of a man in the room, whom Jigsaw said was dead, but is clearly just sedated. Ah, well, the point is she got the thing in the nick of time, becoming the only one to survive Jigsaw's trials.
Congratulations. You are still alive. Most people are so ungrateful to be alive. But not you.
You're terrified, confused, and desperately in the need of a change of underwear, but not ungrateful.
He helped me.
Ah, I see. Killing a man in a desperate rush to get the key to keep yourself from having your head ripped apart is just what you needed to finally quit the drug habit. I mean, you could have tried a 12-step program or something. After explaining all these flashbacks to Adam, this only infuriates him. He's got no idea who the guy is, but apparently Lawrence does. How dare! In his fit of rage, though, they find out that the mirror in the room is in fact a two-way mirror where a camera is set up behind it, which gives Lawrence even more information to understand about their predicament.
Every possible angle has been pre-thought out.
You sound like you admire this prick.
To overcome something, you have to understand what a perfect engine it is.
Or you could just look up the answer on Google. But there's that other clue about the spot being marked with X. Well, not making much progress on that, so let's jump into another flashback. The last time Lawrence saw his family.
Sorry to bother you, but your daughter had a bad dream again.
Just a minute.
She wants you to check her room.
Literally me trying to finish a script while the house burns down around me. His daughter, Diana, played by Mackenzie Vega, says there's a bad man in her room, but Lawrence assures her everything's all right, no monsters under the bed, and everything's all hunky-dory. I mean, if you don't count the strained relationship he has with his wife, Allison, played by Monica Potter. No bother, he decides to show Adam his family photos, tossing him his wallet and instructing him where to find his favorite little snapshot of all of them together.
Someone, usually me, has to hold the camera, which means I'm always missing from the photos.
Not bad. Angle's a bit tight and the color saturation is a bit off, but it can only be so accurate with a Polaroid. So, not showing him that one. Moving on, we jump back into the flashback where Lawrence leaves right before the bad man gets his daughter and his wife. This is sort of noticed from across the street. A certain detective has been keeping an eye on Lawrence, but doesn't know who this new mystery man is. This leads to the flashback leading into another flashback. Obviously, we learn that Tapp still believes that Lawrence is the Jigsaw killer. But damn those regulations, he just had to let him go because of lack of evidence. Now, well, digging through the things Jigsaw left at the scene of Amanda's trial, they deduce between the graffiti and the fire alarm, they can figure out exactly where Jigsaw's secret lair is located.
You think we have enough for a warrant, though?
Who said anything about a warrant?
Because that always ends well. And what the fuck are you gonna do if you do manage to arrest him without a warrant? Oh shit, look at that, he's back out on the street. At least according to law and order rules, anyway. Heading out as just the two of them, Tapp and Singh hit the mother lode. They have indeed located Jigsaw's lair. In it, they find funny little dioramas, creepy little dolls, and oh yeah, the spare victim just hanging around, Jeff, played by Ned Bellamy. No time to help, though, as Jigsaw approaches.
Don't cry. I've given your life a purpose.
The scene would have been rather dull and predictable, but the fate of some unknown victim hanging in the balance, well, that has made everything so much more exciting, don't you agree?
So the cops jump out, ready to arrest Jigsaw. But the drills have a button on the floor to activate, and wouldn't you know it, the key to deactivate them is somewhere on this ridiculously packed key ring. Good luck, Singh!
Sick of those who scoff at the suffering of others. I'm sick of it all.
You see what I mean? Jigsaw going all Assassin's Creed on Tapp is terrifying and all, but we're seeing this as a flashback from Tapp, so it's kind of obvious he lived. But it does mean he's in no condition to pursue Jigsaw. No bother, Singh can chase him down. In his home turf, which he probably planned for at some point. Ooh, chunky. So it was Singh who dies, leading to Tapp taking on tracking down the Jigsaw killer. Not as an official police action, but his own mad obsession. Okay, now we can get back to the events going on right now. Adam decides, fuck it, tell Lawrence to turn the lights off because of that clue on the picture he isn't telling him about. But the point is, there is glow-in-the-dark paint on the wall. This hides a box, which Lawrence's key unlocks. Inside, they find a cell phone! And some cigarettes?
Give me that. Are you joking? You gonna put something that you found in this room in your mouth?
Yes, I'm willing to risk it.
To be fair, what the hell's gonna happen to him? Oh, lung cancer. However, a note hints to the good doctor that he may be able to kill Adam by combining the cigarettes with blood. Never mind that for now. It's time to call 911.
This was meant to receive calls, not make them.
And yet still, not being able to call 911 from that kind of phone is a violation of FCC regulations. Verizon will be hearing from my lawyers about this.
This has happened before. Last night.
For fuck's sake, Lawrence, we're never gonna finish the movie if you don't stop giving us flashbacks. Either way, he says he was alone, but felt like he wasn't. The camera flash probably gave that away, but then he tried to make a phone call only to be completely unable to. And then... Are we ever actually going to get an explanation for the amnesia? Because this shit sounds like stuff that I have a hard time forgetting. More importantly, Lawrence wants to know how Adam knew to turn off the lights. After a little back and forth, he reveals to him that it was a hint on this picture of his kidnapped family.
Why didn't you show me this before? I couldn't.
Let's be honest here, Lawrence. There was enough shit going on in that scene. We need to spread out the shocking revelations in this movie. This sends Lawrence into a rage! One of those rages that lets you think quite clearly as he sneakily adds blood to a cigarette before suddenly cutting the lights and telling Adam about a secret plan. Pretend to die. Okay, here's the cigarette, wink wink, to calm your nerves. Well, points for creativity. Don't forget to, might have even been convincing too, as the fact that he's not really dead is only revealed when an electric charge comes through the chain, zapping Adam into screaming incoherently. So, no progress. But don't worry.
I remember how I got here.
Because it's time for another flashback! Sweet hell, there weren't this many flashbacks in It. It's not really the most useful information. I mean, we can clearly see that Adam's been taking pictures of Lawrence, but technically he's not telling that to the guy. If you want to know how he was kidnapped... Okay, Adam, nice story about how you got here, but we seriously have 23 minutes left until we're dead, so maybe think a little bit more about how the fuck to get out of here. And a little over 20 minutes left in the movie, so Lawrence gets a call from his family. His wife tells him, you know Adam? Well, he's been keeping secrets from you. Later, it's here that Adam reveals that he's in fact been following Lawrence around and taking pictures. Nothing personal, it's his job. He's getting the pictures for someone else. Someone Lawrence is sure must be Jigsaw, for who else could it be?
He's a tall black guy. He's got a scar around his neck, okay?
Jeez, problems with the police, problems at home, problems with Jigsaw. Lawrence just can't catch a break. However, there's another one in the pictures that Lawrence recognizes.
I know him. Zep. His name is Zep.
He's an orderly at my hospital.
It turns out that another minor character is in on it. Fortunately minor enough that we don't get whisked away into Flashbackville for another 5 minutes to explain it. We've got far more important things to cover, like Allison wriggling out of her binds just in time for them to be out of time, so Lawrence can get the call that they're all gonna die.
Is that you, Zep, you bastard? I know it's you, you son of a bitch!
Larry.
Hallie?
I'm gonna rip your balls off and shove them down your throat! Oh, hey, Snookums, how's my wovey-dovey? Things get confusing right away as she says he failed, but then does battle with Zep, which doesn't translate too well over the phone, but the sounds of Allison screaming and the constant gunfire while sending Lawrence into a deep depression also gets the attention of Tap. He's not gonna miss this climax. Rushing in, he inadvertently provides the ladies enough of a distraction to escape. Not that Lawrence realizes that. Lawrence! Okay, I'm pretty sure Jigsaw's just fucking with him for shits and giggles at this point. But when he comes to, it turns out in his electrocuted convulsions, he tossed the phone just out of reach, and it's ringing again. Sure, they did that shirt lasso trick earlier, but suddenly that's not an option anymore. But the shirt tourniquet is, as the doctor feverishly hacks away at his ankle with the hacksaw. Man, he is going to be disappointed if it turns out to be another telemarketer. But Zep's on the run! Not to worry, for Tap is here to get shot. Well, so much for that plan. Not to worry, for Lawrence is free! Having missed the call, he figures, fuck it, there's still one thing he's been tasked with doing, and he's not a man to leave a job unfinished!
You have to die.
No, I want to live! I want to live!
Sorry.
I want to live!
My family.
I mean, it was clearly supposed to happen by 6, which has already passed, and I just heard the screaming and gunfire over the phone, but, fuck it, maybe the bullet will retcon something. Either way, with Tap out of the picture, Zepp can make it to the little holding cell shithole where he finds Lawrence, who, fortunately for Zepp, only had one round in the gun, but seeing Adam dead isn't good enough. He's out of time.
You're too late.
Why?
It's the rules.
We covered the rules pretty well in Act 1, Lawrence. You're a smart guy. You should have figured it out. But what's this? Adam's not dead, and instead grabs Zepp and beats the shit out of him with a porcelain fecal dispenser. You see, Lawrence just shot his shoulder, so he's fine. Also, didn't get electrocuted to test if he was really dead this time, which was certainly lucky. But he's gonna have to wait here chained up while Lawrence hobbles away looking for help. However, it seems Zepp wasn't the mastermind after all, as he too was just another pawn in Jigsaw's game.
There are rules.
It's the rules.
We don't need a flashback to that movie. It literally happened 3 minutes ago. And it is finally revealed who, in fact, was Jigsaw all along. The corpse! It's not a corpse, but some very nicely done FX makeup. Glam and gore could maybe make it a little more convincing, though. Either way, it was John all along. You remember John, right? Cancer patient, was in one scene. Well, it seems his impending death is inspiring him to put others through trials to make them appreciate life, as he knows well is a fleeting gift not to be wasted. Oh well, Adam, you lose.
Game over.
A twist that's, well, pretty much everyone knows at this point, but it was pretty surprising back then. Who would have suspected John, that very minor extra from one scene? Shit, Scream 2 gave more hints than that. Anyway, that was Saw. Holds up pretty well. While known more for the torture porn of the sequels, the original Saw is a much different beast, relying on situational horror and a slow-building dread, along with puzzle and mystery elements. It's a pretty complex story, juxtaposing the relatively simple setup and scope. When all you've got is about one room to tell a story, and that room's got to have layers and layers of complexity if it's going to keep our interest over the 100-minute runtime, slowly chipping away at the mystery as time goes on, while the situation of the characters don't change all that much, our understanding of it constantly is evolving. But a lot of exposition is done via flashbacks, and while this does work, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of flashback scenes. So much so it's kinda hard to say it's a movie that takes place in one room, as I'm not even sure if said room made up even half of the running time. Show Don't Tell is obviously better storytelling though, so I'm not bent out of shape over it. The flashbacks do get a bit excessive, though. Flashbacks within flashbacks, or flashbacks flashing back and forth in quick succession, and of course flashbacks to shit that literally just happened. The storytelling can be a bit all over the place. That's about the only gripe I have, though, as the acting, while a bit hokey at points, doesn't detract from the experience. Instead, it kind of adds a layer of camp to it, making it easier to enjoy the otherwise extremely depressing situation. Overall, Saw took the world by storm for a reason. As an early 2000s horror movie, it brought creativity and terror back to the big screen, and nobody was expecting it. While the barrage of sequels might leave you feeling like it's just another horror franchise, the original is still well worth a watch to this day, coming in at 4 hacksaws hacking away in Saw out of 5. It is a bit rough around the edges, but still a fantastic flick for fans of horror. Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado, and remember, while the plan was initially to release this movie as straight to video, it was coming along so well that it just earned a theatrical release. And then, on its first weekend, it did so damn well in theaters that they green-lit a sequel faster than you might have suspected. And there are a lot of damn sequels after all is said and done. So much so, you could probably just do
The Summer of Saw!
Bet you saw that twist coming.
There are rules.
It's the rules.